Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Average Joe Dividends YouTube channel. If you've been following this journey, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe so that you do not miss future videos. Also, please click the like button to help grow this channel and get the word out on dividend growth investing. Getting paid just for owning stocks. This is what dividend investing is all about. My main objective is to show a replicable way of building an ever-growing and reliable income stream, one that does not have to rely on the volatility of the stock market. You simply own the shares of successful companies and you're automatically paid. In this video, I'm going to show you the dividends I received for the month of September. I'm going to show you the actual proof. We're going to go into the activity log and go through them one by one. We're also going to see what the result was for the last drips, because on the 30th, which was yesterday, but everything showed up in my account today, so I'm able to deploy those dividends. So let's just take a look at the performance, though, over the last year. We can see by percentage, we're up by 26.62%, and then the dividends earned over the last year, 11,240.35, with a market gain of 43,980.60. We'll zoom out into the 3 months and we can see we're up by 5.22%. And then in further to the last month, pretty flat, but still up 0.66%. And then over the last week, we start going down a little bit. And then today as well at almost 8%. So kind of giving back some of those gains, but that's okay, because you can see just over the last year, starting at 201,000, and we're ending here at 265, and actually 264 since we're live here. That was from yesterday. So we've gone down just a little bit, and so I really can't complain. So let's jump into the activity log, and we'll see we can see the buys in there. We're going to get to those, but we're going to first do the dividends, but we're also going to see those drips and how many fractional shares, or actually how many whole shares I was able to buy with this. This 1430.04, this was just what I received this morning. This just popped into my account, over $1,400 just of dividend income just showed up there. So let's filter this by activity type. We're going to do dividends only, and we're going to show everything from September. I'll probably have to go to the next page. I do. So let's start it out. September 3rd, Pinnacle West paid me $7.75, and then Aflac $10.35, then Kroger $5.21, and then the wrap up on the 3rd. These are all from the 3rd so far. Black Hills $25.49. And then on September 6th, it looks like Yum Brands for $7 even. And then Amgen, also on the 6th, $13.24. And then Southern Company, $7.16. And then on the 10th, Exxon, $11.89. And then about the page, we have Prudential, nice one, $47.12. And then Microsoft, $5.70. And then Home Depot, $9.85, and then Avista, nice dividend, $26.64. Realty Income, this is a monthly payer, $13.03. Hershey's, $9.21. Duke Energy, $14.50. McDonald's, $12.73. And then BlackRock, $9.82. Qualcomm, $6.95. Lockheed Martin, $4.96. And then Waste Management, $7.04. And then another monthly pair, look at this, from BST, $488.97. And then Travelers, $474. And then Digital Realty, $828. Broadcom, $722. Pepsi, $15.54. And then look at this one, SCHD, $890.77. SCHD is the largest position in my portfolio. If you want to see what's in my portfolio, I'll leave a link below so you can see what my M1 pies are. You can see what I'm invested in and what percentage. And then Fidelity, FNF, $9.19. And then the last one, Union Pacific, for $5.33. Let's go back to the activity log. I'm just going to show you really quick with those buys. Let's actually Let's put everything on here. We reset that. And we'll take a look at these buys before we're going to go over to my Google Docs spreadsheet as well. But I'll just show you just the power of these dividends here, these last ones that rolled in. And I'm going to go one by one through these and show you with no additional money invested, just a drip. This is the dividends just being reinvested. We'll take a look at SCHD. I got 10.59168 additional shares of SCHD with that drip. And then FNF is going to be a lot smaller since it was $9.19. So I got 0.14984 of FNF. And we're going to see how big the next dividend is going to be. I know SCHD is not going to be the same dividend, but FNF, Union Pacific, these other ones they have a pretty steady dividend. So we're going to see what the next one is going to be in the next 3 months. And then Union Pacific here, 0.0217 of a share, but it's only $5 in change for that one, 533. And then Broadcom, 0.04244 was the quantity there with that drip. And then BST, this is going to be more than the fractional, yeah. Picked up an additional 13.83749. BST pays a monthly dividend of 25 cents, so it's essentially 13 additional quarters going into my dividend payments, almost 14 quarters going into it, so that's the way I look at it. So yeah, 13.83749 of BST. And then Digital Realty got 0.05124. And then Pepsi, 0.09118. So most of these are fractionals, of course, except for SCHD and BST, but these will make a difference. I'll show you just a little bit. So for Travelers, 0.02031 was the quantity there. So let's jump over to my Google Docs spreadsheet. This tracks all the positions in my portfolio. Currently there's 52 of them. Go to my holdings tab real quick here. Yeah, there's 52, with SCHD being the largest position at just over $100,000. But we can see here the share price, the average share price that I've bought each position at, the shares I own, here's the market value. If I were to sell it, here's my cost basis for each position. Here's my gain or loss. And then here's the gain or loss expressed in a percentage. Anything above 25% will be in green. Here is the quarterly dividend. I have 2 monthly pairs that are in blue, which are O and BST. And then SCHD has a variable dividend every quarter. Here's the current yield percentage if I were to buy more shares today. Here's my yield on cost. And here is the date that I get paid, and we'll do a quick count here of the dividends actually paid, and they're in the dark green here because we're in September, which is the last month of the quarter. So we can see the sum is $1,685.89. So I could have just taken this as a payment and received the very same dividend, of course, with the exception of SCHD in 3 months. Or I could drip it and get actually more. I'm going to show you what that difference is going to be. You can see some of these drips have been applied, but the ones from the 30th have not. And you can see, though, there is a price disconnect with Broadcom. Looks like I bought some shares of Broadcom or fractional shares before the ex-dividend date here. So there's going to be a little bit of a disconnect there with that, but as well as Pepsi too. Looks like I bought some fractionals of Pepsi before it, or actually before the, actually after the ex-dividend date, excuse me. So we're going to see these go up. All these values from the 30th are going to go up here. And actually on Broadcom, it looks like it was a miscalculation or something. I'm not sure. I got paid $7.22, and I don't know why that extra 7 cents is there, because my math should math, because the 53 or actually 52.5 cents dividend times my shares, and my shares are feeding from M1, so not quite sure what happened there, but I got an extra Looks like 7 cents from Broadcom. But again, we're going to see these change. I'm going to show you how I do that and update it. I go over to M1 on the holdings tab. I grab everything from name. I'm going to scroll all the way down, grab this data. And this is going to be really, again, just those dividend drips. And we're going to see what this does to my next dividends as well as the monthly cash flow average. So this is the average of what the portfolio is paying each and every month. Of course, it doesn't pay this exactly every month, but the sum of 3 months is right here, 29.58.88, and I divide it by 3 to get this monthly. So we're going to see this go up as well. It's going to go up a few dollars at least. So let's go ahead and paste this into the M1 data tab, and it's going to change the shares for SCHD, BST, as well as the other 6 positions as well. But you're going to see these change. You can see the 1180 and the 1955. So watch closely as I paste these in, and you're going to see those change. You see that jump from 1180 to 1191 there. And we're going to see the result of that over here on the dividend portfolio tab. We can see we've jumped to the cash flow average from 986.20 or 29 to 992.53. We're going to carry this over to the monthly average dividend tracking tab in just a minute. But before we do that, let's take a look at the new dividends that we're going to receive for these positions. And we can see here, it looks like Broadcom didn't really change much at all. It's still at that 717. And then looks like F&F did go up from 919 to 927. And then Digital Realty, 828 is going to be now 834. These are going to be December payers. So we can see with Travelers, very modest 2 cents from 474 to 476. But it does move the needle here. And look at SCHD. This, of course, again, hinges on that same dividend, but I would go from 890.77 to 898.76. And then also you can see how BST moved the needle there from 488.97 to 492.43. And then with Union Pacific moving up 2 cents from 535 or 533 to 535. And then Pepsi moving further up from 15.54 to 15.85. So we're going to take this value over here again, the 992.53, and we're going to put this over to the monthly cash flow, monthly average dividend tracking tab, 992.53. And this is where I track the progress of the income that this portfolio is generating. So this was not even with a deposit of my own money, just by dripping in these dividends here. The Broadcom, Travelers, F&F, Digital Realty, SCHD, Union Pacific, Pepsi, and BST, I added an additional $6.24 to my monthly income going forward. Again, that's every month, not just a one-time $6.24. So you can see that progress. And we're trying to make up for this erosion here with SCHD announcing a lower dividend from the prior quarter. But just to clarify, though, the 75 cents was a dime higher than the dividend last year. So that it's more important to compare the dividends not from the quarter prior, but from the prior year. And you can see the 75 cents here, and it was 65 cents here. So you can see in Q2 it made a huge jump from 66 cents to 82 cents, but we're still well above. Even the 75 cents is higher than any of the dividends paid in 2023 or 2022. And here's my prediction for Q4 for SCHD's 80 cents even. We'll see how close I am. I predicted 75 cents even for the Q3 dividend, so it's pretty darn close there. And let's do some cleanup on this sheet since we've already put in the dividends over here. We're going to, the 1685.89, we've recorded that over here. We're going to do some cleanup in a moment on the sheet. We can see the quarterly dividends at 38.91 at almost 100% bigger than the last quarter. And the last quarter was 25% less because SCHD did not pay in that quarter. It paid twice in Q3, which just made this a much larger number. So it was artificially large. So what we can do is take the average of the last two quarters and take a look and see where we're kind of at. So 29.49 was the average, which is much larger than the prior quarters. You can see just how well this is progressing, the income of this, even though SCHD kind of blew that up a little bit with it paying a little bit late in July instead of the end of June. So it looks a little bit weird here with that, but you can see though how the income is going up and up, and we can see we've recovered. We're just only down 13.77 for the month with the SCHD having a lower dividend. And again, it was really helped by those drips and no deposits to record. So we closed out with $900. And then we'll do some cleanup here. Here's what we're gonna do. Here's how I do this. So we have it was 264 even. Looks like is what we closed on from the prior, but I don't think that's true. Let's go back here real quick and see what we were at yesterday. So it looks like we closed at 265.4. So we're going to put that in there. I'm just showing you kind of the maintenance that I do on this sheet. So that will be hard-coded now to show the portfolio value rounded to the nearest $100. And this is live now with the dividend portfolio. It's just pulling the amount right over here, and it's rounding it to the nearest $100. Is what it's doing right there, 264.7. And actually what I should have done, since I did it on October, is that what I may do is put the prior value here and then put the new one here for this, since this actually occurred in October. And we'll go back to the tracking tab. So we were at 986.29. Hard code that. Copy this down. And then here's our progress so far in October with that 624 with no deposits. So we're heading back in the right direction. And I'll show you over in this tab what I do as well. Since we've already recorded these dividends, what we're going to do is we're going to delete these. And we're going to put this back to a fill color of white. Then what we need to do is we need to account now for the October dividends. You can see tomorrow I'm going to wake up in the morning, I'm going to receive these dividends. These three for $20.44. And what I'm going to do, as I always do, I'm going to drip these back into Allstate, Coca-Cola, as well as ADP. What we have to do is we have to put the new dates for O and BST, since these are monthly payers. We know that BST pays at the end of the month, so we'll get it changed. So 10/31. And we can look it up. I'll show you where I looked this up at. So for realty income, it's going to increment by a month. And I have some links below here, dividend declarations. And this goes on over to dividendinvestor.com. So we'll look up O Realty real quick. We'll get that date here. So October 16th. It says the 15th, but I added day because M1 has a 1-day delay. So I'm going to put in when I actually received that dividend. So we'll put in 10/16. We'll arrange that. We should have all of our October dividends here. then we're going to do is, since October is the first month of Q4, we're going to put the light green right here. And this signifies the dividends that I am set to receive for October. And I have a color key here. You can see October is the last. So November will be medium green, and then December will be the dark green. And December is going to be an even bigger month than the huge month that we had in September, which you can see is it's a record month. We can see we're in the 1200s in 2022 to 2023, 1300, 13. We got to 1500 in December 2023. We hit it again. We beat it by 8 cents in July, and then we've beat it again with 1685.89. And I'm predicting we're going to get well over 1700 in December. So I can't wait for that. So it looks like we've reset that over there. And just to close this out, I'm going to show you I have other dividends I've received. I have other investments such as IRAs and 401ks. So we went over the dividend income here from just this portfolio over here at M1's, my average Joe dividends portfolio. But this is about 15% of my total net worth. So let's go over here and we'll cover the rest of it. And I'm going to line up, I'll show you the dividends real quick here. I'm going to scooch this over here to, if I can, it won't allow me to, but this is the column we're going to look at. And this is for September 2024. And we're going to go over my Vanguard account where I have an IRA and a traditional IRA, a Roth, and a taxable. And I received dividends from VYM for 36.58, and then VXUS 89.97, and then VXUS again in the Roth 31.49, and then VUG 1029, VTSAX 267.06, VYM 816, and then VXUS 173 even. And the reason I have black rectangles here is because they're not paying in those months, so I've blacked those out. And then SCHD, I have that also in an IRA. With M1, I received 1384.24, and then I also have BST over there, 440.65. And then here's the dividend portfolio. We just went over the 1685.89. And then here is M1 savings. So I'm counting interest as well, because this is income, 76.79. And then Synchrony, I have a savings account as well, 227.84, and then 2 cents from Capital One checking, and then 35.55 from a Capital One savings account. So the grand total of all the dividends for the month of September for me were $4,467.53. You can see I have other math down here with like my W-2 nets, and then I subtract out my expenses, and here's my gap. And I encourage all of you to track all of your expenses. I do a video every month that shows you all the expenses that I have. And it's not to brag or anything like that. It's to encourage all of you to track your spending, because if you don't know where your money's going, it's just going to go away. And you have to have a gap. And hopefully every single month. There's months where I didn't have a gap. I built a house that was completed in February 2024. So you can see a couple times here where I had to outlay some cash for that mainly. I had a sick animal too that I didn't have a gap in those, but for the most part I do. And I put that to work for me and invest it to make even more money. So we can see here is my total net worth that I closed out on at the end of September. It's going down a little bit because the stock market's down like 1%. So, but $1,740,200, that's rounded to the nearest $100. And we can see how that's grown from November 2022. And within this time frame, there was no like big win, there was no inheritance, there was no lottery win. This is just keeping at it and investing mainly in index funds, like you can see where most of my net worth is wrapped up in these simple Vanguard ETFs, as well as like a Fidelity S&P 500 index, and you can see over here more ETFs. So I think it's important to, be well diversified. And, I do have individual positions, but even in my holdings here, you can see, but where I have my individual positions, the top two are an ETF and a closed-end fund, which are diversified. And you can see AbbVie is my largest position at just over $5,000. And you can see I have quite a few of them, but again, this is less, it's about 15% of my total net worth. So that's all I had to show you guys for this video, was the total amount of dividends I received. And again, it was $1685.89 from the dividend portfolio, but from everything, counting, retirement and everything, it was $4,467.53. And again, with the effects of the drips, the over $1,400 in the last day of September that rolled in, and what that did to my dividend income. So thanks everybody for sticking to the end of the video. If you got value from the video, please click the like button. Also subscribe. I think my next video is going to be my budget video, where I go over my expenses, my income, as well as my net worth. And I know that one does not get the clicks and views, but I think it's 10 times more valuable than these dividend videos that I do, which are, nice to see these dividends rolling in. But if you don't have a gap to invest, you're not going to have a portfolio to build. So thanks again, everybody.